So good morning to Meagan and Berine, who are joining me today on Aesthetically Speaking. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
And you are from NAOS South Africa, which is the founding company of our beloved, many South Africans know this brand, beloved Bioderma, and the brand in question today, Institut Esthederm. And this French company, according to my notes, does specialize in skincare based on the principle of ecobiology. So we need to just understand what that is all about. And if you can, Meagan, take us through that.
Sure. So ecobiology is a principle that is founded by NAOS, and this infiltrates into all three of the brands that they have internationally. We currently have two brands, which is Bioderma and Institut Esthederm. And what really the ecobiological principle is about is that we see the skin as an ecosystem that interacts with the environment, be it internal or external. And really what that is we don't just treat the surface level, but we actually look at the biological dysfunction of the skin. So all our products are formulated to really look at that biological dysfunction, be it if it is Bioderma with the biological dysfunction affecting acne, and Institut Esthederm where it's more the aging process and the degradation of the skin cells.
Okay, perfect. That's clear. And Berine, just tell us now, with Institut Esthederm, you've decided to take the brand out of certain stores and make it available to doctor or clinic only sites. Just tell us a little bit more.
The brand decision as a global choice to create a more aesthetic brand in not just the retail sector of aesthetic clinics, also in terms of professional credibility. The brand decided to globally only stick to aesthetics. And this, of course, allows the brand to be better recommended, the product is better used, and of course, your customer has better results. And that forms trust. And what NAOS is all about is relationship building. We are for the human being. And of course, for everyone to feel better in their own skin. And the brand is exactly that. For a client to walk to a shelf and just pick anything off the shelf would mean they did not get recommendation, they did not get an assessment on their skin, and of course they don't have anyone to come to afterwards saying, I've been using this product and it's not working, or it is working, what's next? Involving the professional expertise, and in this brand's case we are working with the aesthetic clinics as well as the estheticians, and they recommend the product and they control and they follow. And for us as a brand, it allows a lot more credibility in terms of evolving the brand in South Africa.
Yes, I'm glad you said credibility, because I think it hinges on that. Yeah. And the amount of research that goes into these brands, and then to make them available, let's use the phrase off the counter.
Yeah.
Is just takes away that credibility, because there's a lot of stuff going online as well where somebody says, I want skin that looks just like my girlfriend's skin. And everyone's unique. Her skin issues might not be the same as yours. And then the brand gets a bad name because off they go to whichever store they want to, they get the product and they break out or they have a reaction. And we need that professional to assess a skin issue or a skin condition. And then you might not necessarily need 10 products. You might need just 2. And I would think that Institut Esthederm has a lot of actives, and that is why you need a professional to assess the skin. And if it needs to be brought back to proper functionality, then they are the people. And also the sites that we have here in South Africa, there's always a doctor involved. Even if it's online buying, you have to go through a skin assessment.
Or a skin assessment, absolutely, yes.
Definitely. So yeah, that sounds amazing. Is that happening straight away? Is it on now?
Yeah, we're officially in doctor-only practices, and also a lot of the times we've also partnered with a lot of dermatologists that have been, as Berine spoke about, relationships, and we've have these fundamental relationships thanks to Bioderma and the years that it's been in the country. So the dermatologists have been our backbone, and now moving into aesthetic practices. But I just want want to touch on, it is important. I think Institut Esthederm has a lot of molecules, and it is some molecules you can't use together. So that's also why we've really decided to move it out of retail and have a dedicated person or hand on your treatment plan to say, you know, this is what we recommend for this specific time period. And then you can kind of move on to something else, because we do have sort of specific ranges where you can only use them for a certain period of time for, let's say, 2 months, and then you have to move on to another range. So I think this is a fundamental step for us. It can be challenging, but I think the team are extremely dedicated, and we're confident that this is absolutely the right decision.
Okay, fantastic. Well, let's move on to the ranges then. The brand's patented biotechnology, that's age Proteom.
Yes.
Okay, so this preserves the Proteom. Okay, I'm not going to explain it all. Meagan, I think you should explain.
Yes, this technology was developed by our founder, Jean-Noël, and it's been in development for about 40 years. It's quite extraordinary how they came to this technology. But basically what the Proteom is, and you can see this as almost your worker bee team force, that it's all the little proteins that compile into this Proteom. And what these proteins are, it's your elastin, it's, your antioxidants, it's your collagen, and that all forms part of the Proteom. And what they're responsible for is to, obviously, the youthfulness of your skin. So ensuring your skin's hydrated, the elasticity, and of course, over time, with exposure to the sun, with exposure to the external factors, these kind of proteins stop working, and they call it becomes carbonylated. So what that is, it doesn't move effectively. It becomes sticky and rigid, and they kind of don't work efficiently, and that's what causes the aging process. So then you start seeing signs of fine lines, wrinkles, and what the technology does, and I'm jumping right into that, is what the age Proteom biotechnology does is it actually protects those proteins, or those proteins in the Proteom. So it causes a shield, and that actually enhances or protects the longevity of the proteins. And in essence, that's what keeps your skin healthier for longer and really preserves the aging or the youthfulness of the skin. So for us, fundamentally, looking after our skin is the most important thing. So this really helps ensuring we slow down the aging process, which is quite phenomenal, because I don't think there's a lot of brands out there that can claim this. And it's an essential product that you should have in your routine throughout. I mean, Berine will speak on this on when to use it and from what age, but everyone should have this product in their routine. It really does preserve the aging process, and it just helps you be...
Is this a particular serum?
So the technology is actually, it's a technology that they've put into a serum. And then now we've also launched eye cream. But I think future is that this technology will be available in majority of the Institut Esthederm formulations.
Okay, and it's
patented. So this is something, like I say, it's been years and years of research that has come to this, and we've finally launched it under the NAOS label.
Okay, fabulous. I need it immediately.
Absolutely.
Berine, is this targeted to a specific age group, or is it for all skin? Is it, targeted for a particular condition? Just take us through.
Paola, I think the right answer to that would be, you have this protein in your skin, and we all have it.
We all do.
We all have it. From of course, a younger age, a much more healthier Proteom, a better cell, a stronger cell, and obviously as age comes along, it degrades. I think the ideal age for this product is tied into how the Institut Esthederm recommends to prepare the skin.
Okay.
What we do is a 3-step process of the biopreparation of the skin, which involves our cellular water mist. It has the cellular technology. And that product, of course, is just a water-based. It's literally water that we have developed. It's not anything active. It helps the product channel through the cells. And in that, we have the Osmo Cleanse. That's your step 2, which, of course, is the cleansing of the skin and second part of the preparation of the skin. And that's where age Proteom comes in. This product, step by step, is for any age from 20. Whether you feel like, okay, I'm aging, because DNA is different. My DNA is different to yours.
Yes.
We have different processes in our skin. So we cannot say 20 or 25 or 40 plus because we're different.
I'm glad
So we
you
don't
said
touch,
that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
We
skin
don't
is
touch
skin.
DNA. We cannot correct DNA. We do not want to touch it. We're beautiful with it. That's who we are.
It also depends on what you're exposed to, you know, how much sun you have.
Exactly. Lifestyle choices.
If you're in an urban area versus a non-urban area, like it really does play a role.
Yes. So it's skin.
It's skin. Like your skin is aging, or you feel like you need a bit of vitality and a bit of oomph in your skin. This is the product that's going to, in the long term, assist your skin in not aging fast. It's going to
Truly
slow
an
it
investment.
down. So the earlier the better, to be honest. And then the next step from there would be your planning. So once you've done your biopreparation, you have different concerns. So you have to do the bioprep, and then maybe you have acne, or you have breakouts, or you have anti-aging,
Pigmentation.
deep lines, deep wrinkles, pigmentation, sensitive skin. You know, you name your pathologies and your skin concerns, and that's where the intensive range comes in. That's a targeted, highly active product that we need the recommendation on to treat the skin.
Yes. Yes, because you can't have somebody running off and saying, oh, well, I've heard that vitamin C is very good for my skin. I must go and get something with vitamin C. And then it's not the right delivery system. It's not the correct dosage, let's say, for that particular skin. We need that doctor to assess.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, I have this with my mom often where she says to me, yeah, but it's got 10% vitamin C. And I was like, yes, but what is the derivative? What's the formulation? You know, what's the method, the mode of action? So it really is essential to find like a practice or aesthetic practice that understands and can recommend a path for you and the right sort of products for your skin.
No, correct. And most, you know, most of the time you get people who don't understand if something is quite pricey. You've got to go back to all the research that goes into that product. The delivery systems are so finely tuned in products like Institut Esthederm. It's not something that will sit on the surface of the skin. It's something that's actually going to penetrate.
Absolutely.
And that's why it's so important to have a professional have a look at your skin. Meagan, you spoke just earlier about certain products needing a particular length of time. I want to understand that a little bit better. Could you tell me a little bit more about that?
Sure. So as Berine said, we've got various steps in our routine, and the first two steps, the cellular water has the cellular water in it, and that basically just revives the cells to help absorb all the other steps later on. But as you get into the intensive range, those are really, like Berine says, where there's a lot of, if there's a skin condition or a certain concern, being it acne, being it sensitivity. And for the intensive range, it's really, we call it the shock treatment, where you go on this range for 2 months and then you move on to the next. Once that biological dysfunction, as I spoke about earlier on, the ecobiological principle has been rectified, then you move on to another range that we offer, be it Exolarge, be it lift and repair. So that's why really it's so important to understand going for a consultation and understanding that journey, or that skincare journey of yours. So, okay, what are your skin concerns? I have adult acne. Great. We've got intensive propolis range for you. You'll be going on this for 2 months, and after that, we'll look at the so the results and move on there. So that's kind of important in the steps and the plan to the Institut Esthederm range.
And it kind of makes sense to me because skin, like human beings, there are changes all the time. There's, there might be a plateau where it remains the same, and then next month you might have a breakout, or you might find that the pigmentation subsides in the winter and comes up in the summer.
Absolutely.
So this really, really makes sense to me. In terms of the intensive range, would you say it's kind of more targeted to the skin that is perhaps more mature and has undergone oxidative stress and more sun damage?
Yes, absolutely. Understanding and respecting behavior of skin. And of course, this is where the age does come in. Skin's not always prepared for active. Skin's not always prepared for retinol, for instance. There's a whole retinol range, a beautiful range, but it's not meant for everyone's skin. And again, we punch back to our aesthetic expertise and our doctors who, of course, have fallen in love with the brand. It's absolutely something that we would not recommend. If your skin is not prepared, do go for expert advice as well.
I love that the doctors have lent their support, because this gives the product so much more credibility, and they see the results in their patients. So, consumers can be sort of, they've got that knowledge then that doctors and dermatologists are behind the brand.
And the exciting part is also we're not only doing retail product within the clinics, we are launching our cabin range.
Yes.
The cabin range
is
will be our professional range. It's already being done in France. It's already being a professional treatment that is recognized globally. We are bringing it to South Africa.
Oh, wonderful.
Which is very exciting.
Which is quite important.
Lovely.
You got to see it from a treatment process and then your home care products. And it is in conjunction with your aesthetic procedures like various microneedling, and so that could tie in very nicely, and you can see even better results. So definitely, I think touching on the aging aspect, and this often I get asked is, what is the difference between Bioderma and Institut Esthederm? So Bioderma is really biological skin conditions. We really work very closely with the dermatologist on, acne, atopic dermatitis. There's no aging aspect there at all. Whereas Institut Esthederm really looks at the woman and man's skin and the cell and really focuses on the aging factor as well as treating the skin condition. So it's not like you have to choose. So it's a beautiful range, and also just the experience of the moisturizers, the serums, and our sun care. It's really enjoyable.
I'm just going to touch on most of the ingredients: hyaluronic acid, retinol, vitamin C, Pro-Collagen Plus, the AHA peel, and propolis you did mention.
Yes.
All these ingredients are sourced.
Correct.
From?
Yes. So from France. Our laboratory is in France, in the south of France, and it's a very big institution, and all of our development and lab testing and everything's done.
Yes. So high quality ingredients.
No, absolutely. I mean, if you look at the EU regulations in terms of sort of the steps you need to go to and what formula or what ingredients you're allowed to use, it's extremely rigorous and quite like I want to say limited, but NAOS even goes further than that. So they are extremely very specific with the type of ingredients they are using, and you can actually scan a QR code at the back of the product and it tells you exactly what is in that product.
Very sustainable and
absolutely
and ethical. There's one product that I want to touch on because there's so much hype around vitamin C serums and how wonderful vitamin C is for the skin, and the intensive vitamin C gel cream. What I want to touch on is particularly the fact that it comes in a 50 ml, which I always look at this.
Yes.
I don't know. It's something that I do. I always look at how many mils, and it's usually 30. But the fact that my BDI went straight to 50 mils, and it might seem pricey.
Yeah.
This one is around the 1,500 mark, 1,500 Rand. But for 50 mils, that's going to last because it's a pump that you need for face and neck. And it's going to last a long, long time.
Yes, so the active vitamin C is actually separate, and it's a good point. It's a 15 ml, and the actual active vitamin C or the fresh vitamin C is at the bottom. So you actually have to activate it and then shake it.
Because notoriously vitamin C just is,
to remain stable is difficult, but that's why they've separated it. So, and what it all comes down to the type of vitamin C, the derivative that vitamin C is. And what's unique about this product, and we have various clinical studies to show it, is that it actually stays active for 5 days on the skin. So looking at the millage of a product is not necessarily how long it's going to last, because it's once again the formulation.
I'm just thinking of the budget.
Absolutely.
Constrained people like myself, and you've got to weigh it up.
Yes.
You know, so is there any other product that you want to highlight whilst I've got you?
I think what's very important is to highlight that our cellular technology is in every single product.
Okay.
So the cellular water.
Your cellular water is active in every single product. And this, of course, is your transporter for the product within the skin cells. And that's a vital part for us. And it's a technology that no other brand has implemented in their product to assist with feeding the cells.
Yeah,
absolutely. And I mean, what it does is it actually mimics the actual skin cell. So if you look at it under a microscope, you can see that it literally looks identical once applied to a skin cell, a live active skin cell. So what that does is it just helps with the mode of action, and it helps activate that product even faster, which improves, the results. And so really, really ensuring the product is active and gets to what it needs to do.
Okay, lovely. Scientific, medical grade skincare, my favorite subject of all time. Where can we find the products? Any doctor, any dermatologist, but are there online sites that we can mention?
Yes, we have very selective
online sites,
e-commerce sites.
Okay.
Skin Miles would carry the product at the moment.
And of course, that's under Dr. Alex.
Exactly.
Yes, very trusted.
Lovely.
We have a selected amount of aesthetic clinics that are rolling the brand out.
Okay, so consumers can just go to the website and or Instagram and type in Institut Esthederm.
And then you can go to the link. So we've got a link tree, and then it does show you all the doctors that we're available at, and then as well as the online sites, because some of the doctors do have online sites as well for their patients. But probably the most widely available online site would be Dr. Alec and Skin Miles.
And the team there.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you, girls, so much for joining me.
Thanks so much.
We must do this again when the new brand comes in.
Exactly.
Yes, we definitely will. That is a very exciting brand, and also very unique principles. So we'll definitely do it.
Lovely. Thank
Very
you both.
exciting.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.